Hello, I am Usman Serikan. This is Atlantic TV. So today we are in Bigelow to have an exclusive interview with a couple who came all the way from California to share their knowledge on vegan lifestyle. So do follow us and have a very insightful discussion. Hello, Dr. Joe.
Usman, welcome. Welcome to
Thank you.
Spicy Tasty Vegan Cuisine School.
We'll be having a exclusive interview with Dr. Joe and Mama Nasir, who came all the way from California to settle in the Gambia to spread their lifestyle, that is the vegan lifestyle. So we're going straight to the interview. We're gonna start with you because I
Okay.
want to start with him, but they always say ladies first.
Ladies first. Yes.
So I don't want to be at fault. Yeah. So we
Mr. Sedeka, may I introduce her?
okay, you can introduce her.
Now, she has a long list of accomplishments, so I reduced
Make it quickly.
So, Mama Nasira, she's a native San Franciscan. She's a graduate from City College San Francisco, Associated Arts degree, and Library Technical Department. She has a BA from New College of California, a mother of three wonderful children, healthy geniuses. She's been married over 40 years. She's a noted vegan chef, a health advocate, and entrepreneur of over 20 years cooking and catering experience. She has been on a plant-based lifestyle for over 40 years and a vegan for
About 20. Over 20.
and many consider her, including herself, as the best vegan chef in the world.
Well, thank you.
What, so we go straight to the interview. So what actually inspired you to adopt this lifestyle?
Well, I got sick, very ill at the age of 19. Left home to go to college and stopped eating my mother's cooking and started eating in the restaurants. I know you heard of McDonald's and Burger King, and all of these things came in my generation. And eating their food, I wasn't quite done with being young, going out to parties and trying to working in the medical field. I was really fortunate to work as a medical lab tech. I was drawing blood. And drawing blood, I got stuck with a needle and contracted hepatitis B. So with all of that going on in my life, my liver was swollen and my eyes were yellow. The doctor said, you need to eat the way your mother raised you. So that's when I started looking on to that. And just over the years, I started reading and learning about health, nutrition. Anytime my body would go through a change, I would read up on it. And it would tell me just how I should eat. And this is not easy for everyone, but I did it. And now I'm to the point where people call me and ask me, what do I do with certain things? And of course, it's the food. Food is very
So
important.
you have been a vegan for over 18 years.
I'll say
what-
over 20 years,
20 years.
but I've been more or less a vegetarian, which I did eat some meats and some cheeses, but I made it gourmet. You know, I just wouldn't eat anything plain. Like some people eat plain rice with just a little sauce. Oh no, I have to have onions, garlic, bell peppers, celery, pork, all of these combinations with the spices and herbs is what really makes the food taste good.
So what impact have you seen in your health after adopting this lifestyle?
Well, what happens, I'm 70 years old, and you go through the things that women go through, having babies. I've never been really fat. The only time I've been fat is having 3 sons. And because I exercised too all my life, in college I would always take an exercise class. I would always get an A, kept my grade point average up. And especially when I turned 21, the main thing in my life, I got my own apartment. And having my own apartment, I actually was able to prepare foods and my friends would come to my house and eat. And of course, this was like during the 70s when there was no such thing as people paying you for the food because it's in my house. It was more or less them coming and learning different ways of eating different types of food.
Would you consider yourself the best vegan in the world, vegan chef in the world, like Dr. Joe?
Yeah,
said?
I think the reason why I would say that I'm better than most people because I do follow other people's recipes, but I don't use all the things that they use because I have a wealth of input of things that I buy, not just here in the Gambia, but outside. I bring food in. I have it shipped in. That way, for instance, like the potato salad you saw, a lot of people would not dream of putting 10 or 15 things in it. But I do it because I feel like every organ in the body needs a certain amount of nutrients. And I think if you have 15 something in one dish, do you think everything is going to get met?
That's going to be difficult.
No, but I mean, you think everything will be already has its nutrients. And then guess what else? You'll be able to go to the toilet that day. It's very important to go to the toilet because that's why I never had a large stomach, because anything I eat, I make sure it's coming out, even if it means getting some of the tea. Here in the Gambia, you have soursop, leaves, and border, in Calabar, moringa. I mean, I mix all that with my other teas like peppermint. I may bring this Parte Arco. That's a tea that gets all the inflammation. You know what inflammation is? That's like pus and mucus. Like if you have a stomach ache, it's generally because the worms and different things that causes bacteria, and that's what I try to avoid.
We'll come back, Mama Nasha, to Dr. Joe. Would you say your hospitalism is same as or similar to that of Mama Nasha's?
Well, we do have a similar path. The reason I was thinking of coming here is because of our people in America, the United States. Our people are dying. Food, as we know, is not the best food. Water is not the best water with contaminants. We have things like atrazine, which, as a good brother Tyrone pointed out, it turns male frogs into female frogs. We have lots of problems with plastics. We have, the list goes on. We have the geoengineering. All of this is coming down on our people. And unfortunately, we get the, you might say, impression of people being fat in America. No, their bodies are responding to the inflammation. The environment are really poisons. And I feel that if we come to Africa with all the resources, the creativity that you have, and the genius that you have, if we could assist you in waking up, then you could rise and help them. That is my motivation.
So you've been a teacher, you've been an educator for 30 years?
Yes.
And then, like Mama Nasir, in this vacant life for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you left, you were also in Syrian,
Yes.
You also in Syrian, you left that, you stayed in it?
Well, right now our focus is on the school and teaching the different chefs. And as Mama told you, we have a program where we teach people for 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, and advanced training. And that's taken up some time, as well as living in the Gambia and all the different nuances you have to learn. So I am having a fabulous time here, but at the same time, I figured that would probably happen that way if you're being of service, if you're helping others. Because the more you give, it is true, you receive.
So we go into your coming to the Gambia. There are many countries around the world and also in Africa, but you chose the Gambia.
Well, yeah, for a couple of reasons. If one can comment on one of those. First of all, we had a plan where after our tour in the UK, we were going to go to
Yeah, in the Emirates.
Emirates. And I couldn't help but say, I gotta go. It was November in the UK. It was cold. I had never felt it was cold. I had anyway. So I was willing to go anywhere where it was warm, okay? And the person we were supposed to go to, we weren't able to get in contact with her. So one of the UK people, who was a vegetarian by the name of Shakina,
Yes.
yeah, she told us about the UK, and Mama remembered she had a friend from way back in Alaska, Ida, porch, and she was trying to persuade her to come to the Gambia. So we said, let's do it. We did. They set us up. The rest is history.
So how were you received by Gambians when you came here?
Well, when we first came, well, some of them look at us like we Tupacs. Some of them look like we Bob Marleys, Rastafarians. Some of us look at as we are kindred brothers, and so it's different people, look at us different ways. And some of them look at us like we Santa Claus, like we come here just to give out things. So it all depends on the person.
So back to you, Mama Nasura.
Yes.
Your dog is here.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you came to the Gambia, established what perhaps could be the first Gambian vegan
Experience?
Yeah, in the Gambia, and also you also open up a school, a cooking school.
Yes.
So how tell us stories of the process.
Well, the first thing when we first came here, we were introduced to meeting different people. And when we first started, we were preparing our own food and showing it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, letting them know what we're doing here. And the Gambians, they were online as well. And it was, oh, you still have some of that food? And, we weren't sure exactly where we were going to go. We had people that came to, kind of clean and take care of the house like that. But then after some point, we started wanting to have young people to come and train. We had the experience of knowing some of the people that would come and clean, they didn't have any food to eat for that day. And some of them really couldn't afford to buy the bread because that's not too cheap either. So we just started, with our attorney, we got the paperwork together and started out, wanting to have an institution. But as we continue to teach and train and be more creative with the recipes and sharing the knowledge of our books and donating them to the families, we started to learn that. Oh, but I mean, you think everything will be already has its nutrients, and then guess what else? You'll be able to go to the toilet that day. It's very important to go to the toilet because that's why I never had a large stomach, because anything I eat, I make sure it's coming out, even if it means getting some of the tea. Here in the Gambia, they have soursop, leaves, border, ingelaba, moringa. I mean, I mix all that with my other teas like peppermint. I may bring this Parte Arco. That's a tea that gets all the inflammation. You know what inflammation is? That's right, pus and mucus. Like if you have a stomach ache, it's generally because the worms and different things that cause this bacteria, and that's what I try to avoid.
We'll come back, Mama Nasha, to Dr. Joe. Would you say your inspiration is same as or similar to that of Mama Nasha's?
Well, we do have a similar path. The reason I was thinking of coming here is because of our people in America, the United States. Our people are dying. Food, as we know, is not the best food. The water is not the best water with contaminants. We have things like atrazine, which, as a good brother Tyrone pointed out, it turns male frogs into female frogs. We have lots of problems with plastics. We have, the list goes on. We have the geoengineering. All of this is coming down on our people. And unfortunately, we get the, you might say, impression of people being fat in America. No, their bodies are responding to the inflammation. The environment are really poisons. And I feel that if we come to Africa with all of your resources, with the creativity that you have, and the genius that you have, if we could assist you in waking up, then you can rise and help the whole world. That is my motivation.
So you've been a teacher, you've been an educator for 30 years?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then, like Mama Nasir, in this vacant life for over 20 years? So you left, you were also a musician, you know.
Yes.
You're also a musician, you left that, or you still in it?
Well, right now our focus is on the school and teaching the different chefs. And as Mama told you, you know, we have a program where we teach people for 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, in advanced training. And that's taken up some time, as well as living in the Gambia and all the different nuances you have to learn. So I am having a fabulous time here, but at the same time, I figured that would probably happen that way if you're being of service, if you're helping others. Because the more you give, it is true, the more you receive.
So we go into your coming to the Gambia. You know, there are many countries around the world and also in Africa, but you chose the Gambia.
Well, yeah, for a couple of reasons, and Mama can comment on one of those. First of all, we had it planned where we, after our tour in the UK, we were going to go to
Doha.
Doha,
Is it-
in the Emirates.
Oh, okay.
Emirates, and I couldn't help but say, I gotta go. It was November in the UK. It was cold. I had never felt any, it was cold. I had to get away. So I was willing to go anywhere where it was warm, okay? And the person we were supposed to go to, we weren't able to get in contact with her. So one of the UK people, who was a vegetarian by the name of Shakina,
Yes.
yeah, she told us about the UK, and Mama remembered she had a friend from way, way back in Alaska, Ida Borch, and she was trying to persuade her to come to the Gambia. So we said, let's do it. We did. They set us up. The rest is history.
So how were you received by Gambians when you came here?
Well, when we first came, well, some of them look at us like we Tupacs. Some of them look like we Bob Marleyans, you know, Rastafarians. Some of us look at as we are kindred brothers, and so it's different people, you know, look at us different ways. And some of them look at us like we Santa Claus, like we come here just to give out things. So it all depends on the person.
So back to you, Mama Nasira.
Yes.
Your dog is here.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you came to the Gambia, you established what perhaps could be the first Gambian vegan
Experience?
in the Gambia, and also you also open up a school, a cooking school.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. So how tell us through this process.
Well, the first thing when we first came here, we were introduced to many different people. And when we first started, we were preparing our own food and showing it on social media, you know, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, letting them know what we're doing here. And the Gambians, they were online as well. And it was, oh, you still have some of that food? And, you know, we weren't sure exactly where we were going to go. We had people that came to, you know, kind of clean and take care of the house like that. But then after some point, we started wanting to have young people to come and train. We had the experience of knowing some of the people that would come and clean, they didn't have any food to eat for that day. And some of them really couldn't afford to buy the bread, because that's not too cheap either. So we just started, you know, with our attorney, you know, we got the paperwork together and started out, you know, wanting to have an institution. But as we continue to teach and train and be more creative with the recipes and sharing the knowledge of our books and donating them to the families, we started to learn that it's better for us to pursue this as a school, because we're in a foreign land and we don't know a whole lot about and not prepared, you know, for employment, because that's more of a challenge. So we stayed in our lane with teaching, and we also connected with NACA. They have our information and what we're doing here. We give them a stipends, you know, so that they can at least have something. You know, we give them the stipends, you know, every month, something. We also allow them to eat all the healthy food they like. They have their own food, and they use our spices and herbs, to make it even taste even greater. When other students come, to train, they actually come in and they happy with the chopping because this is the type of cuisine that you have to prepare. You just can't go in and start in the kitchen just by one thing at a time, one fruit of it. You have to sit down and cut your onions, your garlic, and we put them in places in bowls or on trays. And then we have a menu of what we're gonna have that day, stew. So we'll have the squash, we'll have the eggplant, onions, garlic, we'll have it all for that stew. If you wanna do a stir fry, we have all the carrots and the, all the greens, the collard greens. We have kale here, spinach. We even, communicate with some of the other farmers, like the Lebanese, as well as the Gambians, So we just really, we're still working on expansive, and we're not sure when we may have an opportunity to have our own health food store. A co-op. You heard of a co-op is when the people that you have working with you or studying, they can get the stipends where they can have some money if they decide to leave. This is what we're working on. We want to work. We're home away from home, and things are not exactly the same. So we're still learning how to work with it.
So how many students do you take at a time?
At a time, we keep now 3 to 4. They're the ones that's gone through all of the knowledge, and then the others, they generally come, like tomorrow, we'll have 4 people extra. And then they're gonna come and do all the prepping.
So do you have duration of the courses?
Do we have what?
Duration of the...
Some go for 6 weeks. We can go to 6 months, a year, and some can continue. But a lot have gone on and taken the skills to other restaurants and have gone from here to GTHI, the Fajara, I think, Skills Center, and we're just going back and forth. We really want to just get this out to, the Gambians. We want them to know that all of this food that you have, we need to use it with the farmer because we cannot go to the fruit sellers all the time because when they get it, they have to pay for it, so they charge us 2 times, and during Ramadans, we're paying 3 times more,
Back to you, Doctor. So we also understand that you have written 3 books.
Yes.
So tell us, how important do you think this book are?
Okay, well, this book here,
It's your way to a healthy life.
that was the book we originally started off to write. And Mama Nasira was doing an incredible job serving food to other people. And she had so many people that she was catering to. I suggested, start a cooking class. But I bet on the wrong horse. We had more people wanting our food than ever. So I said, okay, let's just retire from our jobs and do it full time. It should only take us a few weeks. So I thought maybe a month or 2. It took us 27 months. No TV, no radio. And within that time, we ended up not just with that, but with this book, you can show it.
An informative guide to healthy living.
Now that is number 1.
This is the one that's number 1 in the UK. An informative guide to healthy living, because we wanted the public to know that they are have an opportunity to learn from this material. And then of course this is the kitchen companion, where the recipes are in all 3 books. Of course this is color, we have it in black and white. And this one is the main one that we did for our folks, an informative health guide for the melanated, in parentheses, people of color.
And that's very important because we are so different from Europeans. Your bones are 10 times stronger or denser than European. So that means your whole physical makeup is gonna be different. They have more sulfur in their melanin cells than we do. That keeps them warm and hot. That's why we have to suffer being in cold offices with them. and watch them jump in cold water in the wintertime. And they do it. They have more, we have more selenium in our cells, and the list goes on and on. Our taste buds and our melanin. We taste the food, the real taste in the food. That's why we make the best chefs and cooks. You know, the list is very long with our body and differences. And the challenge is, with our bodies being different, if we eat the same food that they eat, and it's not for our body, we have a problem. And not only that, with our bodies being different, if we take medication that they design, which is based on a white male body, and our bodies are very different, we can have problems.
Yeah, so I was going through reviews of this one, an informative guide to healthy living on Amazon.
Yes.
I think I saw some interesting reviews.
Yes.
People were describing it as the best cookbook. Would
Wow.
you say it is, which of these books is your best?
Well, I would say our most popular one is the one for people of color.
Oh, okay.
This is the most popular one. It's
Mhm.
number one on Amazon. It's been number one for several years now. Because if you follow this guide and that one, you're going to open up your third eye. You know, you're going to detox, decalcify that, which means you will be able to see visions beyond visions, and it will open up people to feel more, be in more harmony, so we can live a better world with everyone. So our aim is not just for people of color, which is the majority of people on the planet, but for everyone.
So do you think people are reading these books as you people would have wanted people to?
Yes, I think so, and we'd like to take another step and put it on audio, so that those that don't, we've got the book translated in French.
That's gonna be a huge task, huh?
Yeah, we have it translated in French, and we have a revision of the old one. And, Mama Nasir and I are doing this with all of the other stuff, so we just have to dump them, steady, one step at a time. We're both over 70, so we do what we do when we do it.
So we know you have been in this for at least a couple of years. What impact do you think your education, your sharing of this knowledge is bringing to the people?
I think our impact is raising the collective consciousness. Because when you eat better, you're going to think better. And when you think better, you're going to make more choices that are going to impact your life and the life of others. So collectively, I think by doing that and the information we have about forgiveness, because it's all holistic. It's not just the food you eat. It's also the love that you have and the thoughts that go in your head. So learning how to forgive is part of it, because you can't truly heal unless you forgive. Because feeling starts on a cellular level. And also when you forgive, it's like lifting weight off your shoulders. And you do rise and see things life from a different perspective. And the other is gratitude. Because the more you give thanks for what you have, the more you give and be thankful for. The key to opulence, the key to wealth, the key to abundance. And we have all of that and more.
In one of your books, you talked about the protein might. You remember?
The protein.
Yeah, protein might, M-Y-T-H.
The protein myth, yeah, how they tell you.
So,
Okay, well,
could you break this down?
well, I'll break down my, what I've learned is when you tell people you don't eat meat, they'll think you're lacking protein. So they have a fear of that. But we know that it's the amino acids, that's alkaline. So amino acids is 19 to 20 of them, and protein is only 1. So you can eat all the other foods because protein is in your greens and your beans, your local beans. So yes, that's a myth because we're uneducated to that ability to awareness.
So do you think, okay,
Well, I was just gonna say, follow the money. Who did this? Who told this? Who's making the money? Is it somebody selling cattle?
Of course.
Follow the money.
so do you Do you think people are going to leave this? Yeah, and it's true. We see people saying that if you don't eat meat, you're not eating good food.
Yeah, well, that's because we have been programmed that way.
And the medical institutions too, they're part of it.
But you don't believe in this.
Well, no, we just believe that if you have an alkaline body, like most of us melanated people, we should be eating fruits,
Yeah.
vegetables, nuts,
Grains.
grains, and legumes, and leave the other stuff alone.
Yeah.
You know, we can have the natural oils like the coconut, extra virgin olive oil. We can have the palm oil with the kernel, but leave away those other things that they told us were healthy for us, like vegetable oils. Anything that is processed, our bodies can't break it down. We end up having problems. But because there's a lot of commercials, because there's a lot of programming, you go by what you've been hearing. So our challenge is to reprogram ourselves. And the first step is start eating differently. And as I said earlier, when you eat better, you gotta think better.
So you also organize festivals, I came to understand. So what form do these festivals take?
We had, 2018, the first International Vegan Fest here in the Gambia. It was on YouTube where we had invited Dr. Alela Africa to come from the US to be a part of the festival to talk about, the healing and the importance of eating and caring for yourself. We also had Dr. Umar Johnson, who came to talk about the family life, how unity is so important, especially bridging the gap from the US, the UK, from all over, to bring that awareness. And it's also about healing ourselves. We have been living in a time where things have gotten really challenged over the last maybe 70 years. Corporations, ruling. It has nothing to do with our families. We've been split up like in America. We're so divided, as of right in one home because of the money situation, as my husband was saying. It's like I won't say it's an evil, but it's something that you really have to know how to manage. And some families know you gotta work with money.
So have you had another festival since the 2081?
Yes, in the UK. I mean, in Manchester.
Yes, we were in Manchester.
Yeah.
We had the second one.
Yeah.
And we're working on, and so we want to really thank you for coming in, to our place, and so that we could get this information out to others. But as we tell all of the chefs that we train, whatever we teach you, whatever you learn, please share. Don't just hold it to yourself and your immediate family. That's part of the program and conditioning that we've had to divide us.
So we know that you must have some challenges that are, hurdles that are put in your back in this journey. Would you share with us some of these?
First thing I'd like to say is, you cannot have a diamond unless you have pressure. And to know that you're divinely directed and protected from yourself, you'll make your steps with love and know that everyone is doing the very best they can with their level of consciousness, which is their awareness, their knowingness, their understanding, and their willingness and their strength and ability to change. So when we come forth with that light, then we understand more that at the end of the day, everything and all things are connected. So you just bliss and send love. And I think that's truly the answer to being of service and having a great life.
So since this journey began, what would you say is the most memorable that you can narrate? You know that you have a target.
Well, I think it's just today we had someone to call and was letting me know that he has a wife and 6 children, and they're buying land and doing all these things, but they don't have enough money to prepare, the proper food. And so I'm letting people know, when you come to the Gambia, it's very important to have some food of your own to bring with you, so that you can gradually, start learning about the foods and what's best for you. I just feel that my journey is to get people not thinking about material things, start thinking about your health, because that is truly your wealth.
And finally, what would be your word for people who are listening and viewing is?
One of my things is over the many years of my life experience, I am very grateful that I had an opportunity to leave America, periodically to teach people my journey. We've been working with young people, and the times have changed. So we want to make sure it's good to go back and to know what your history, your ancestors, so that you can bring that knowledge forward. Because all of what we're doing, it's been done before. It's repeating itself. And we want to make a big impact with this new journey. The world is changing, as you know. We've seen big changes here in the Gambia in 7 years, 8 years. It's quite incredible. There's been some not so good, but you can take that not so good and turn it into a positive. So I talk to my chefs, and with the age difference and what we're doing, we have come down to the reality that we're all one, and it's about love. But sometimes they may have a challenge. I say it's about love.
And Dr. Joe, finally from you.
My words, my last words.
Not necessarily your last words.
Oh, thank you. Think I am over 70. Okay. Well, I would simply like to say that I am really grateful for this opportunity to be of service and to be with this incredible woman who has so much love and has given out so many wonderful gifts in terms of information, in terms of knowledge, in terms of teaching skills. And I just trust that we will continue in this vein so that we can reach more people, raise the collective consciousness, so that we can entertain this new heaven right here on earth.
Well, that would be the end of this interview here with Dr. Joe and Mama Nasira of
Thank you.
Spicy, Tasty, and what?
Vegan
cuisine.
Ready?
Spicy, tasty, vegan
cuisine. Yeah.